Good morning, everyone. I hope you're doing all well. Thank you for coming to this public event. My name is Kevin Blanchard. I'm 30 years old, from Quebec originally. Did the bulk of my training back in Victoria, BC. I've been in the industry of the pest and wildlife management since 2018. One second, jump to the next. So, since I'm from the East Coast, even though that I have a training from the West Coast, I've been able to learn about the biome, the wildlife, and pretty much anything that's living in PEI or New Brunswick or Quebec itself. However, I got the little magic touch of learning about the Rockies and multiple unique biomes such as the rainforest. Victoria, BC is on Vancouver Island and have the rainforest. Down there we don't have winter, so it's a steady cycle when it's come to deal with pests and wildlife. Oops. Why wildlife live in an urban area? Well, quite often it's because they can find a reliable source of food, shelters, and denning area. And by that we mean, here in PEI specifically, how the structures are made. A lot of houses are built on posts, or a lot of houses have those really old, kind of clay basement, and it make it really easier for animals to seek refuge in those areas. Basically, what they do is they'll burrow. For instance, the skunk can burrow about 10 inches to get access to wherever they want to be. Nori rats can burrow up to 3 feet, depending how the permafrost and everything is present. Deer mouse, field mouse for some of you, can literally make burrows network all along your foundation wall and everything and get access into your structure. It's also to reduce, the main thing is animals seeking what you call arborage site. An arborage site, it's where they can sit, relax, and be able to do their due diligence in their own business, such as, reproducing, feeding in peace, sleeping, grooming, and taking care of their youth. When it comes to reliable food source, unfortunately, in urban area, we think we're doing the great thing, and we like to think feeding the wildlife, it's helping them. But in all reality, it's we're removing that wild instinct of the animals to feed, excuse me my French, to feed for themselves, finding their own resources, and they're losing also their predatory sense. In that sense, they become vulnerable to any other, a predator or finding food in the winter time because there's a lack of resources, and they're losing that skills that they used to learn and to have, because now they're super reliant and dependent on human activity. Bird feeder, by the way, is a really bad one. One thing that I learned in my career in pest control out west, people love birds. I do love birds as well. However, happy birds mean happy rodents. And by that I mean your birds are dirty eaters. They make a mess every time that they eat. They leave a bunch of scrap all around the ground, excuse me. Therefore, who take advantage of that? The mouse, the rat, even the squirrel is going to come raid your bird feeder. So in my experience, you can mitigate and eliminate a lot of presence of other animals by removing the bird feeder or moving it somewhere else. We'll come to that in a bit later. Why wildlife enter homes? Animals seek shelter, warm nesting area, nearby food, protection for weather, which are common area that pests or wildlife may infest your structure. Well, it could be a crawl space. Quite often it'll be your attic space. There's quite a lot of insulation in those areas. Perfect for nesting. It keeps them warm. It keeps them safe from the element and keep them safe from predatory behavior. Some structure that we have resemble quite a lot like a den. So, you know, that little rock wall that you have at home that have a bunch of holes in it, perfect burrowing area. Your gardening bed that's rise up, perfect place. Now I have food and I got shelter. They like hollow space. One thing, especially with smaller animals, especially example rats, mouse, squirrels, we could even go with weasel, for instance. They do not like to be in bird eye view. And the main reason is it's most of their predator are bird of prey. So if they have the chance to skedaddle from this table to this table without being seen, that's what they're trying to do basically. They're trying to, you know, I'll find a place that's safe for me to hide, and then I'll be able to do my next move once I think it's safe to the next arborage site. So you gotta be careful with what you're putting around your structure. Clutters create great arborage site. Quite often we're putting all our wood against the wall of the structure, example, because we want to keep it dry and close to the house. However, it's a perfect hiding site directly at your structure. And from there, again, I take the example of a rat. You didn't know that there was a crack in your foundation wall behind that pile of wood, that you've been living there for 10 years. Well, the rat did find it, and now it's interested to live in your wall cavity and is interested to start, you know, investigate what's happening in there. So it's always important to minimize the amount of place that the rodent or the wildlife can hide around your structure. In medieval time, when the Lord had a castle and everything, how they were protecting the walls and were sure that the enemies were not coming, you know, to their castle, they were mowing the lawn. That's why we mow the lawn today. That was called the killing ground. That area, so the soldier of the enemy couldn't crawl to get to the wall. They were at eyesight of the archer. It's kind of the same idea that you want to go with your pest and wildlife. You want to create that dead zone, which is not a dead zone, it's just an area where he cannot hide and there's nothing for him to be protected. And in that sense, we don't want the soldier to crawl into the grass. So, thinking with that spirit, we're able to minimize a lot of activity around your structure without having to take out the good old lethal trap. So we'll start to talk about some of the species that we encounter quite often here in PEI and many other urban areas through Canada. So this is our striped skunk. It's the most dominant species of skunk in North America. Their scientific name is Myphitis myphitis. It takes about 63 days for them to get gestation, so basically from having fun to move it to having the babies. Their litter have 4 to 7 kits. The mating time is right now, February and March. The babies will come around May and June. So between that window of, you know, from mid-March to going to end of April, that's where you'll probably see most of the skunk around your structure, because they're looking for a place that they can hide and get ready for baby season. So it is important to, especially at this time of the year, to inspect the perimeter of a structure as best as you can. I know the snow doesn't make it easy and et cetera, but a good habit that you can take as a homeowner is to just take a walk around your structure, you know, once a week. Just take a walk around the house as best as you can. Go take a look if there's any burrows. Is there any footprint? Do I see any construction material coming from my structure that is destroyed? Is there somewhere that seems to be a good hiding spot for a skunk? As stupid as it is in my career, it sounds kind of cliche, but I always put myself in the place of the animal. Where, why, and I want to go there. How? Well, if I was a skunk and I see that you have a nice deck that's all concrete, protected, that keep me dry, and you know, there's not much noise happening here, and there's no other skunk or any other animals that's coming around, I think I will take advantage of that over going in the forest and trying to find a den under a tree. Just saying. One thing to know about skunk, they really have a poor eyesight. They don't have the greatest eyesight. I could be wrong on the exact distance, but I believe it's about 20 feet distance max, like they have a good picture of what's happening. So quite often with a skunk, they will hear you way before and smell you way before that they even have an eyesight on you. And that's why as soon as you see them, they turn around right away. It's basically they hear the noise in that direction and they know that it might be a problem. Now, a lot of people don't like skunk because they're skunky smell. The smell is from what you call teos. That's, I believe, the chemical compound in the spray that come from their anal gland that create that potent smell. Even during mating season, when skunk male are fighting each other for female, etc., they will not use the spray because that smell will stay in their fur for vitam aeternam. Vitam aeternam means forever and ever. Most predatory animals won't even try to go for a skunk because they don't want that smell and that taste. It takes approximately between 10 to 12 days for a skunk to be able to fully reload their gland. So once they spray and they do their show, they are basically vulnerable for 10 to 12 days. So on that spirit, the skunk really don't want to have a problem with you. The skunk have a poor eyesight, it doesn't know really what's happening nearby them, and all they do is just, trying to scare you away as best as they can. One good fact about skunk, it's they do a lot of your pest control when it comes to insect control. All those lawn grubs, Japanese beetle grubs, June bugs, wasp, for instance, especially ground wasp. Those guys are immune to these things. They eat all of that for you through the summer. I know it's pestering to have some holes in your lawn. Don't get me wrong, we're all proud of our little lawn and our garden and everything, right? But at the end of the day, that guy is working with you guys. One way that we can do in sort that we can coexist with that guy, first of all, it's understand their behavior. Second of all, it's to do our due diligence to block access to void space, etc., near your structure or at your structure to ensure that you don't have a negative outcome with that guy. We'll move to the next. Raccoon. Procyon lotor. Their gestation is relatively the same. Same thing with the litters as the skunk. They're probably following into the season. Their mating is between January and March, so 1 month longer on their mating season than the skunk. And their babies are coming pretty soon here. Next month until May. However, climate change. With the warm weathers and the weird pattern that we have during the winter, it is my first winter in PEI, and I can tell that it was not a normal winter, am I right? It was kind of weird a little. Yeah, it was kind of weird. Sometimes it can trigger premature mating season, and it can premature baby season. So if my recommendation right now with those guys is I will start to look, listen, because that big, 13, 14 degrees for 3 days, and then now we're going cold, and then we're going back to hot, and we're going back to cold, may trigger mommy to want to have the baby a bit quicker, if it makes sense. They're really intelligent. We all know that. They can open jars, they can open doors, they can open your garbage can. It's always a chess game with them. They can manipulate, They can manipulate object with forepaw. So I don't remember the exact amount of neurons and nerve termination they have in their hands, but it's pretty much the equivalent of what we have in our eyes. How we do beautiful pictures with 3D dimension, etc., etc. Well, with them, they do that with their hands. That's why you see a raccoon all the time. I'll give an example. They discover their world like that. Getting them to a finger, let's say trapped to a finger, or a slap on the finger, really owie for them. Because all those nerve termination. When it comes to entry size with those guys, they look big, but they only require 4 to 5 inch. 4 to 5 inch is this remote control here. Do it this way and this way. Why we know that's that distance, measurement, excuse me, it's the distance between the lower jaw to the top of the forehead. That's the magic distance for most animals to be able to squeeze through a gap or create a gap. So, even if your skunk is wide like that, he can fit in a little thing big like that. Now, a big conflict that we have often with them is the garbage, right? The best way I can say with the garbage is treat it like Fort Knox. Treat it like a safe. If you have to zip tie it every time and then you cut it in the morning before the garbage is there, bungee tie it, drill a hole and put a lock if you have to. Those guys are just really good with their hands and they'll just be able to open the lids if you don't do. And one thing to do as well, it's that's my recommendation, it's do not store your garbage cans directly onto the structure, onto your house wall, for instance. Put it against the fence. Put it against maybe 6 feet away from the house. And that reason is because now, while I was talking about arbor site earlier, they can literally go, I want to hide behind that garbage can. Rodent, again. But then also there's, the raccoon could be hiding in the bush beside the garbage can, which I have a picture later to show everyone. Could be hiding right beside the garbage can, living right in there, with a source of food directly there, and then suddenly they're cold and they find that vent on your wall or on your roof, and then now they're like, well, I got food, I got a place to hide while I'm getting food, and I have a place to live. So by removing the food attractant or putting it away, you're removing also the potentiality of it wanting to come discover your structure. Why would I want to go to that weird rock standing in the middle of the land when my food is there? Little tricks like that. We move next to a little video that I took from a raccoon job in Summerside. Basically, there was a hole about that size in the roof that was unnoticed until the last second. Raccoons spend the winter in there and start to destroy the drywall inside the house, which I have a picture later to show you. I had to install a one-way door, so I decided to put my my trail cam camera to be able to monitor, but also have footage of it, like how it's going to behave around a one-way door. Is he going to try to come back? Is it a mom that maybe have kids? Is it not even a raccoon that we're dealing with? Until I have a footage or a visual or some more evidence than footprint, hard to tell. It's a one-way door like that I install. Super cheap, efficient, tough. And what I do is you put it in the hole, or however you want. They are not able to go back in. It's a simple way, but they're able to get out. You gotta install it, if example you take a model like that, you gotta install it with the lip at the exterior. And the reason is because if a raccoon tries to go grab it, see how I'm not able to go grab? The only way I can grab it is if I take my knife or something really, really small and fit it in there. So I'll just pass that around and you guys can just check it out. And we'll pass to the video. Yeah.
Those traps come in different sizes. Like, could you customize it depending on the size of the hole?
Yeah. So basically, that one is just your standard for raccoon. I believe the company Rhino have bigger size for other mammal and smaller size as well. They also have tunnel version. So I'll pass it here. That's a tunnel version, but that's not from Rhino. That's from Kona. Same procedure, but you want to fit it like in the gutter line. You want to put it inside a hole and then secure it. Then the animal is able to get out, but not back in. So there's multiple companies. You can check on Amazon, etc. for all of that. I recommend usually let the professional install a one-way door. And the only reason that I'm saying that is because, you can install it wrong. You could be installing it at the wrong time, or it's also your safety as well. Or, again, you putting it backward by accident. Now you got the free door to everything can come in, but nothing can get out. All right. One moment. There you go. I don't know what's happening here. I will show you the video later. There's some issues right here. There we go. We'll pass to that later. So, another friends that we have near our house as well is our dear red squirrels. They have about a gestation of 35 days, give or take, litter to 3 to 6 kit. They're breeding late winter and midsummer. The midsummer part, it's resource dependent and environmental dependent. Typically, they will have their litter, their mating time, their litter, they will give birth around March, April-ish, depending the area of the country and temperature, etc., etc. They are a nasty little thing when they come to your roof line. They will literally chew holes the size of my fist within a few hours. What happened with the squirrels, especially red squirrels, they're territorial. They do not handle another male or another squirrels to be in their turf. What happened, there's a pressure also in the environment, a pressure in the wildlife as well. Bobby is part of land with all his resources and he's not sharing, right? And then there's 20 other Bobby like that in the same little forest. Well, now little Joe needs to find a place to, call home. So you find your house and find that little tiny hole along the roof line and make it home. Because, maybe you have some vegetable garden, maybe you got other type of source of food such as a bird feeder. Just saying. It makes them want to come to your structure. And especially in an urban area and us pushing it urbanization through the wildlife, those animals become very kind of dependent of our structures at some point. Because we're building so much onto their space, and since they're territorial, they don't share, they're pushing towards structure, etc. Thankfully, at least, it's not like a rat. It's not going to wake you up 3 o'clock in the morning from scratching in the walls. However, when you have your coffee in the morning and try to have your business meeting or anything like that, you'll probably hear it chirp and start to scratch everything in there. They don't need the big entry point. They have the same entry point as basically our Norway rats, which is 1.3 centimeter. Again, that's the distance between the lower jaw to above the forehead. That magic distance that they can squeeze through. It doesn't mean necessarily that they can squeeze through 1.3 centimeter. Sometimes they're chunky. It just means that it need that gap minimum to be able to chew a hole or make their size fitting to get access to anything. Those guys are great. They disperse all the seeds in springtime and summertime. They have a lot of food cache. And in the planet benefit, they're really forgetful animal. They forget where they put their stash. And what it does, well, it creates all those forests. It creates various biomes. One thing that quite often is misunderstood during spring and summertime, it's why all my bulbs are getting eat. Quite often we'll put that on the fault of the skunk, put that on the fault of the raccoon because the holes are so big. It's actually that guy. That guy is not just a nut feeder or a cereal feeder. They're actually eating a lot of veggies and a lot of produce like that and fruit. As like us, they need water in the summertime. The nuts don't provide a lot of water. So, one way that you can protect from a squirrel's example, go dig in your garden, it's you can install a meshing barrier in your bed or around your garden bed. So that's metal wire meshing. You can get that anywhere at any store like Home Depot, Home Hardware, etc. It's stainless/galvanized, so it can stay in the ground and it's not going to rust. Maybe 15, 20 years from now, but you come to that problem later. The magic thing with that, specific that one, it's the size of the hole. It's a 1/4 inch hole. A mouse, anything from a mouse and up, is not able to squeeze through the hole because it's too small. So your squirrel wouldn't be able to chew that and wouldn't be able to go through that. So that's, for homeowner, is one of your best tools to protect your structure, protect your extra little building that you're doing, like your garden bed, your shed, your etc. Perfect material to make the skirting. You just have to install it tight and make sure that there's no gaps around the perimeter of where you install it. So what you can do is you can use, example, washers with screws, so it creates a bigger surface when it's come cramped into the structure. That way they're not able to pull it and squeeze through. So as long as it's tight, this is one of the best barriers that you have as a homeowner against any critter that want to come into your structure, from a mouse to a raccoon.
Can we pass that around?
Yeah, yeah. Just be careful because it's pokey a little bit. Yeah, we can pass that around. There's been a thing that I've learned on PEI. It's a lot of homeowners have conflict with those guys. They like, I hear, to go in chicken coop and attack your chicken, I hear. Well, the main reason why they come to your chicken coop at the base is because you have another problem first. You likely have mouse or rats. Those guys are predator. Their main source of food are deer mouse and rats and squirrels and little rodents and little animals like that. They are not great at burrowing itself, so they won't dig any like tunnel or anything like that, but they're slender. They can fit virtually in only 1/2 inch. 1/2 inch is 1.3 centimeter. That's not a lot. And again, distance, lower jaw, forehead. But quite often what happens is they'll find a burrow from a deer mouse or a rat that goes into your chicken coop, and they're just following that because that's how they predate. They'll go find a burrow from the mouse and they'll just go in the burrow and let's go get that mouse. And then they end up and get in your chicken coop, and little weasel up there, short-tailed weasel, long-tailed weasel, it's not the guy that killed your chicken. Although I'm sure they're ferocious, but it's not the guy that killed your chicken. Maybe Mr. Mink. But typically Mr. Mink likes to be near water. Doesn't like to be just in the open field and be like, huh, let's have a life there. They're semi-aquatic. They're really great when it comes to rodent control and balancing populations. They're nothing to be scared of. They're highly intelligent. Think of it like a ferret. They're in the same family as ferret. They just follow their nose. They just follow their instinct. There's a hole. It smells like mouse or something. I'm going to go in it. So, how you protect yourself as a homeowner with those guys? Oops. Chicken wire like that. Again, one is your number one base of protection. They cannot bypass those holes. They are not rodent. They don't chew. So they're not going to chew the metal or try to go through or anything like that. But what you can do is typically with your chicken coop, I recommend that with people. It's try to don't build it directly on the dirt, first of all. That's inviting stuff to just burrow underneath. When finance are there, the best way is always a concrete pad, but I know it's expensive. But that's the number one way that you can avoid something to burrow from underneath. It's using a concrete pad. But if you're not able to do that, because, finance, dig a trench of about 1.5 feet deep maximum, all around the perimeter of the exterior of your structure. Attach the meshing at the footing of your structure. Again, really tight, because we don't want anything to bypass, right? Roll it down the hole as an L shape. You want your trench to be about 1 foot wide as well. And then what you can do is you can either A, throw gravel in there, then do another layer of metal, throw gravel in there, another layer of metal, then put the dirt on top, or put gravel and then put the dirt on top, however you want, aesthetically looking at the top. Or you can try and just put it as an L shape into your trench, and then just backfill it. That way you at least giving yourself 1.5 foot protection by 1 foot of any rodent trying to burrow into your structure. Animals, like humans, like to be lazy. The number one reason is because we evolve in order to spend the less resources possible and manage and save as much energy possible. So if a rat or a mouse have the choice of I can just go in the field and be happy versus I'm going to chew the corner of that wall, I guarantee you they're going to try to want to go in the field before go chew the wall. So that 1.5 foot is a kind of good protection. You can go crazy and dig 3 foot deep if you want. Especially in PEI, the ground is soft, so it's kind of easy to do. But you can go crazy and go 3 feet, and that way you're sure rats cannot burrow into it.
I just want to ask, when you said L shape, did you
Yeah.
mean that the foot of the L should be pointing away from the structure or
Yeah.
towards away?
Yeah, away from the structure.
Okay, so if he's digging, then it's going to be like digging into
Yeah.
the corner.
Yeah, so think of it like example, I have the L shape here. This is your structure on this side. This is the grass and everything like that. If you try to burrow, typically it goes in diagonal. They don't go down, they don't it start diagonally, right? And then they start to make their way up. So the hope basically there with a pattern like that is they're gonna hit it there. Gravel is coarse typically and it'll interlock. So it's hard for them to dig through. They're able to, but it's really hard. And then they hit that metal barrier that they're not able to chew and they're not able to bypass. Now they have to put all that extra energy if they really want to bypass it versus I can walk away and find other resources that are more worth it my energy. So I'll show you how those little guys are agile. It's insane. They will analyze everything with the little whisker and they will find the gap. Me and Mary Rose, oh, don't tell me that. Okay, I'll have to show you that another way. So all the videos that I haven't been able to show right now, I'll just show them all at the end after the question and answer. That sounds good? What a shame. All right.
You need to connect to the Wi-Fi for the video
Yeah, actually, give me 1 second because my phone is actually connected to it. She'll take 1 second if it's just that the problem.
Is the sugar be in 9 to 10? Based on our Stratford Emergency Services.
Okay. Now we're connected. Sorry about that, guys. How's everyone feel? So far, so good? Any question, any concern, any comments? I know. In my dream world, I will have all of them as pets. They will be all listening. They wouldn't make a mess, and it will never be a conflict. But
Like children.
yes. All right, that was the only problem. I'm glad. So we'll go back to the raccoon video, just quick. All right. So the camera does a little click when it gets activated. It's a setup that I forgot to remove when I set up the camera. So he's quite generally curious, and you see how cautious he is? He's coming slowly, not too sure about it. And then with a face off. So I have other videos that I'll show you later. You can see actually the raccoon interact. You don't see the one-way door because the angle of the camera fell off. But you can see the raccoon doing the perimeter of the one-way door and trying every 1,000 ways to try to bypass the one-way door, and he's not able to. He even once at some point start to pounce on it like a polar bear on ice. All right, so we'll start with that guy here. So I'll just stop here. We had to put that one-way door, like that tunnel one-way door, inside of the cage with the meshing, because that guy is a magician. And the idea there, it's Mario's was trying to catch it and everything, and it was just not triggering the cage, or it was able to take everything away, and a Houdini. So we came to the conclusion, and we could put something on the pedal of the cage here. So basically, that's the lever. When the door is activated, and those are available. They're easy to buy. You can buy them at Home Hardware or all those places, etc. But everyone see? You need some weight to be able to set it off. That little thing was not heavy enough to set up the pedal. So we decided to put that one-way door inside on top of the pedal lightly, with the back of the one-way door at the far back of the cage in a corner, with dead deer mouse, which is his natural food, to try to make him have no choice to crawl as best as possible at the far back to go get those mice. And it did work-ish. And that's where monitoring is nice, because now, if I go to you and you're asking me what happened, why didn't we cut it? I can explain you right now what happened without having to say one word. So the weasel, as itself, knows that it's not a natural place to go, but it knows that his food is at the back. So we caught it. Are you ready for Mr. Houdini? Oops, sorry about that. Mr. Houdini decided, that corner lift up. Let me try. Mind you, that guy was able to take out the 3 mouse out of the cage before it triggered. So he have a snack, he didn't get caught, life is great. I'll let it roll for you.
I think it was about a week.
Yeah.
We were after him.
Yeah, yeah. And unfortunately, how it works with commercial space quite often, like big corporates, they're bound to a national contract. So they don't have the say on who they can pick as a pest control when they have to go with the big, whoever at the bid of the contract and everything like that. So that's the reason, partially why that we had to leave. It's because their pest control decided they wanted to take over after I gave a pamphlet. So yeah, they're really smart. They will analyze everything, and they have thought process in their behavior.